All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is DARKHARTE Podcast, Episode 7. This is Devin, or Pacifica Divine. Welcome to my channel if you're viewing on YouTube, or, of course, the podcast version, DARKHARTE. I'm here tonight with Nathan and Isaac, both from the Cheesecake Factory, Anaheim.
Woo!
Hello,
Yeah! What's up, guys? How are we doing today?
Good.
Awesome.
All right, good. Thank you very much for both coming. We were actually, this was supposed to be two separate podcasts. Actually, Isaac was going to come over earlier, and Nate, I'm very pleased to have you over early, actually. Yeah, it's a bummer that things kind of fell through with band practice time, but we're all here together, so we'll see what we can do with it. All right, now, we're diving in with some gin right away. We had some leftover from the last podcast, and the guys had not had gin before.
Yeah.
I think I'm being told,
First
right?
First gin.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers.
Dude, cheers again. To the
Here
podcast,
we go.
guys. Pleasure to be here. I hope this is the first of many.
Gin, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cold gin time again.
Woo! It'll be better with something like fizzy, bubbly. Like Andrew bought this no sugar apple stuff. Oh my
Like
god!
apple juice.
Oh no! It was
That's
like bubbly water or
okay.
something. I don't know. It was. He went through like 3 and
Apple LaCroix.
I did 1. It was good. He was enjoying himself. I was too. We had a great time.
And
I'd love to pick both your brains in 2 very different directions, but we'll take a little time to get there. Do you guys want to give yourself just a little background before we dive in?
Sure.
Yes.
Isaac.
So I'll start, I guess.
Please, yeah, jump in.
Name's Isaac Vermilia. From Southern California, born and raised. Graduated from Concordia University in Irvine with a degree in theater design, and currently 24 and working at the Cheesecake Factory as well as South Coast Repertory Theater in Costa Mesa, doing some part-time work there in their scene department. But yeah, just living life and looking for more work and trying to find my way, I guess, like everybody else in this universe.
It's honest, Nate. What's going on?
Yeah. I'm Nate. I grew up in Southern California also. I was born in Anaheim and then moved to Brea when I was in 3rd grade. And I would say that's pretty much where my life kind of just started, because it's not the earliest memories I have, but 3rd grade was kind of just the start of growing up in Brea, which is where I grew up. So from 3rd grade, I went in. I really like Brea because it only has 1 junior high and 1 high school. So everybody goes to the same junior high and knows each other. Everyone goes to the same high school and knows each other. And the town itself isn't that big. So it's really cool that I had the opportunity to grow up there and I know someone everywhere I go. For sure in Brea, but even around. So it's really cool. I like that. But I'm also working at Cheesecake Factory in Anaheim. The boys.
Oh yeah.
And we got. I work at a record store on Wednesdays. I do a lot of jobs. I also I'm a one-on-one aide at an elementary school Monday through Friday afternoons, and then I take care of a special needs guy on Sundays. And I'm in a band, Skullcrack, and another band called Screaming Reason, which the practice was canceled tonight. Got to be here with you guys, but yeah, I just like music and hanging out.
Yeah.
I love that second part, the hanging out. I think we all want to be there.
Yeah.
Work's just... Well, I think we're all working, sure, to make money to live.
Yeah.
We gotta work.
Mm-hmm.
But there's these other things that we probably really enjoy doing. Is there any work that either one of you are doing? I know you both have more than one job, but is there anything that you wouldn't really mind the money so much, but you like what you're doing?
I guess theater work. I will be working on a project soon for a children's theater company. It doesn't pay much, but really excited to at least sink my teeth into another project. But other than that, yeah. Even traveling, that's expensive.
Yeah, I like working with the students. I prefer the junior high level because when I first started working for the school district, I worked at Bray Junior High where I went too, so I knew like a lot of the staff, which is cool. But yeah, like I really want to. I want to be a special ed teacher, but I've been going to freaking Cal State Fullerton since 2011. So like, I've been going to college this whole time. Maybe took off like 2 semesters, like total, like here and there, or maybe 3 or whatever it is. But regardless, like I was way too far into my business major to realize until I realized that I wanted to be a teacher. So I'm still right now finishing up my bachelor's in business with the concentration in entertainment and hospitality management. And yeah, so like regarding the question, I would say that like I like working with the students. That it's not really like the pay. It's not. I mean, it's good for like as an aide, but as a career, like compared to what I'm taking in college right now, like I could be a manager at a Marriott or anything else, that definitely pays more. But I really want to.
That's the work you want to do.
Yeah, I want to be a teacher for sure. Plus, like I love like being in a band, playing music, going on tours. So like I get the summers off, I get spring break, and all the holidays that are teachers get. So that's definitely a plus also.
Dude, that's kind of a nice deal. I was looking at being a teacher for a little while.
I can see you being a college professor.
Yeah, I was probably gonna land that. I got set on the teacher deal, and I was like, I could do high school. And then I looked back, continually thought back on my high school experience. I was like, fuck that, no way.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing, too, what I like about teaching, especially the junior high level, is that I hated junior high. And, like, I got in trouble all the time. There's so many rules, all this stuff, but I like junior high because I want to be there to, like, tell kids that, like, they don't have to be cool or whatever. Like, that's when they really start to, like, try to, like, be cool or try to... I don't know what the hell they're
develop
doing.
Their personality and kind of like figure out who they are as a child. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. So no, totally. So like that age, and like there's such sponges at that time, and like they still have like silliness from elementary school, but they're like ready to work and like get down to business, like schoolwork and stuff. But like I said, they're super sponges at that time. So I just want to like tell like junior high students that like it's cool to like do whatever you want to do, like be yourself in that sense. And I don't know, just
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, like because they're freaking funny too. Like I love like silly kids, and especially like I don't know, I'm silly myself, so I think that like if I another advantage too is like just kind of bottom line when it comes to like students, like a male authority is just viewed as like not better, but like it's received differently than like a female authority. Most of the time,
Yeah, that's a good point that I want to seize on. Is that I think when you're younger, I think elementary school is dominated by women for the most part.
Yeah.
And so your education background is dominated by certain personalities and a certain set of controls. And so I think during puberty, which does hit the junior high years, it's like you're rebelling against authority for one thing. You've already put up with it long enough. I think like having a male teacher, it's definitely like I absolutely gravitated towards my male teachers in middle school.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like I have that advantage too that was just given to me, obviously, because I'm just male, So like I think that's why it's important for me to be like a junior high teacher too, because I could have more of a voice, not more than a woman or anything, but just like we just discussed, like students do tend to gravitate towards the male teachers or whatever, and I feel like it's important for me to use that to my advantage, which is ultimately for their advantage, like to develop themselves as a person,
Do you think that could potentially be a role maybe for some individuals in society where they're guided back into kind of shepherding part of society? Because it does seem like the way that we're set up, we pair off at certain times in our lives where I think that we're often self-directed, but directed as much by other people to go off on we need to go do this, you need to go work this much, you need to have this job done by this time and be also married and
Yeah.
And so I feel like we're directed by our parents, our friends, a sense of competition in the market to achieve all these things when maybe we should slow down. Maybe we should figure out what we really want to go to in college. Maybe we want to apply our degree in a different country. Maybe we want those opportunities and we just feel like, no, I have to start working right away. No, I need this done by this time. No, I have to have, be married, have a kid, be at this, success is driven into us, I think, just growing up. So I think with our situation, like with you, I think you changed majors, you said. I think, Isaac, you didn't absolutely get to fall into, I think, like where your degree went, which I think a lot of people go through where
I dropped. I was a double major and then dropped one. But
But like a lot of people they'll try to use their degree, and either it's not what they're generally interested in, maybe, or the opportunities for our degrees. Like, there's so many of us that the opportunities are hard to come by.
Yeah.
I would argue, for one thing.
Yeah. Well, I actually didn't change my major. I just realized I wanted to be a teacher. So like I said, when I realized I did want to be a teacher, it was too far. I was too far into the business major to change. So I'm still finishing that major, and then afterwards, what I think I'm going to do is, you can't be a substitute teacher unless you have your bachelor's and pass the whatever CBEST or whatever the test is. So, so I'm going to get the bachelor's, do the test, and then start subbing for however long until I go back and do my credentials, and then start being a teacher at whatever point. I probably want a break after finishing college though, because it's so hard.
Dude, I know it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
No,
I hate
I'm
so much.
so glad I'm done. So glad.
Yeah.
I just think that we would all be better off if we had some roles, some ideas that were kind of hammered out, like that fact right there. It's a pain in the ass trying to find out what you really want to do, for one thing, because you don't have that assigned in the first place. And you tend to want to live at the same time. Like, you want to take some time off, and fucking college takes a lot of fucking time, right? It's hard to bear with. And so we all want to, go to Vegas, or go out, or go party, or take a break, or take a semester off. Go travel. Travel's huge for people our age. A lot of people, their time off is to go travel, and they're fucking getting out there. I know people who've given up on college and traveling, backpacking for nothing, right? Like, all over the world. It's like, holy shit, it's incredible.
Yeah, one of my roommates is he's from Germany, and he's here now, going to Cal State Fullerton. We live right across the street from Cal State Fullerton in an apartment, and he just went to Guatemala for a month, and he met so many people that saved up for years, and then just left and just started backpacking forever, or not, until they run out of money and do whatever, but then he met this one guy that he says I only travel south, and maybe east and west here and there, but I go south and I'm just backpacking. That's crazy.
That's an adventure.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, there's an amazing trail that goes from California all the way down. Down to South America, all the way.
That's crazy.
Can't pull the name of it on the top of my head, but I'm gonna say it's El Camino Real Trail, something similar to that.
I know there's a road El Camino Real. There's a road that I know it's in San Clemente and a few other places, but
it's a 497 mile trek.
That's it? No, maybe
around there.
Is it something you accomplish something when you drive across America, or when you
it's so fun.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a thing, right? It's a thing to do, right? It's an achievement. You get it done in your life, right? Mile High Club.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. What if that was a thing? The El Camino, whatever. California all the way down, or I don't know, somewhere else in America, all the way down to southern tip of Chile or Argentina, right? Like that'd be a hell of a hike to accomplish,
Yeah, that's insane.
right?
Mhm.
That would, I mean, like you could say like, hey, I did this
Oh,
thing, right? Like if it was a thing to do,
Mm.
like that's what I think what we ought to do to redirect a lot of our horseshit time, right? Like we're in the rat race so much. And I was talking to one of the guys in the back before, like jumping back on the clock. He's gonna go cook like for 8 hours straight.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, and I was like, not doing a double, but I was like coming back from a break to help out and stay later. And I'm kind of just horseshitting with him, and I was saying like, you know what? Like I know everyone's like scared about like robots replacing people and like jobs disappearing and like shit's fucked, but someone's always gonna have to cook. Right, like to cook food, right?
Yeah.
And for hospitality, you're gonna need people,
Mm.
right? And so I kind of like was, exchanging that with him as like, we're fucked. And I mean, it's like in one way, like this job isn't going away. Like what we're experiencing, this calm before the horse shit that's about to happen because we're both sharing that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not going away anytime soon. Like I was thinking about that.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think like technology is always innovating, and like we're just like catching the consumer shit. Like, oh, there's a new phone. Oh, you can get this now, and like that's what we mostly get. But I mean, it's always going, right? And so there's so much shit that's like right around the corner, and I think robotics is one thing where that affects a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So it won't just be like, what's the next gadget? It's, oh man, I'm getting a pink slip, and so is everyone else in the factory or whatever, because these jobs are managed now by computers, by AIs, by robotics, by, 20 people now a job of one to oversee computers, right? Do you guys have any thoughts or feelings on that? Because we're in an industry where we're kind of insulated from, I think, the worst of that happening. I think it's only going to affect us by like people having money to go out, and I think there's always going to be those people. So I don't think actually we're in trouble right now immediately.
Yeah,
but
I would say, like you were saying, in our industry, I mean, even for teaching, I mean, I doubt that they're gonna get rid of teachers and make machines teach children. I don't know, but I would say we'd be safe.
The closest thing for like getting machines to teach students would be like one company making videos on how to do things and just having a supervisor in the room.
Like a tutorial.
At this moment in time, you would say.
Yeah, at least I couldn't think of any way to like teach a student through a machine, except for like somebody making a video, because we use videos a lot to teach things. Not that the teacher doesn't do anything, but like just as an extra like
communicated concept.
Yeah. Just getting it in their head a different way, and then back and forth, whatever it is. But I would say that would be the closest thing. But then I don't know, like I guess the only way that would benefit like cost effectiveness would be like getting somebody that doesn't have to get paid like a teacher, because they're just supervising the room as the videos teach them. But then
because it turns kind of into like supervision administration,
exactly.
And not teacher aid. But I mean, obviously some sort of teaching credential would probably go into someone who's involved with administration. I mean, who's to say? I think administration heavy organizations are like heavy in the educational field these days. I think colleges are definitely administration heavy these days compared to how they used to be. It's my belief that how you can chat with someone like instantly online, perhaps for customer service, perhaps
for anything.
Pretty much all services, right? How soon will that be a basic AI responding instead to your queries? Like it has all the answers behind it, and it's going to answer quicker than a person will, and we're not going to know the difference. Okay, right. So you have this entity, and we're going to think it's a person, right? On the digital side, interacting with us.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine some sort of tutorial educational system where this, let's say you digitize them, it's like a cartoon person on the screen, and they're fun and they're happy, and they have the smiley, and because they got the smiley, you feel good when you learn, and we're happy when you do something right, when you give the right answer. They reward you and they guide you back and catch you when you make a mistake. And so let's say you start early on and you are essentially, your mind is raised by a robot. By an educating robot.
Right.
An AI. That's still either developed by, let's say, maybe an AI or a person. Ideally a person. Well, who knows? We're going to probably start letting computers design computers, and that's where people start getting scared, where it's like, oh, Terminator. I don't think that's the case. At least I don't think that's the case. But that's kind of my format for how I think education will be affected by
I can see that.
artificial intelligence and robotics, and because then it becomes an issue of just managing the students into the facility.
Yeah.
And like they're just, because then the students, because we're programmed to watch. Like Andrew and I got really heavy into media, film, the import of ideas and values through observation, right, through our senses. Sure. And so we're primarily geared to listen, to watch, to take things in, I would argue, rather than put things out. Like there's fewer artists who create, more people who take in. Would you not agree, Nate?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, in that case, I think people will be wired to kind of just not be jacked in so much like the Matrix. I mean, but they will be wired to just, just engage with, and maybe done some real good with this kind of teaching aid.
Well,
I mean, it could be really constructive to develop people, because most of our development, I would argue, happens in school and not at home.
Oh yeah.
Like, I would argue a lot of my development came on the schoolyard, and
agree.
Well, I was really lucky to have a lot of structure in my house. At the time, I would never say that, of course. But yeah, I was really lucky to have like good structure in my household, and it helped like who I am today. Like, I think that chores are like they helped me like so much. Like, not at the time, but like I met people that don't know how to fucking sweep. Like it's insane.
People who don't know how to mop, or people
Dude,
like simple chores, simple laundry item like laundry. Mm-hmm. It's funny. Going to university, living with people who don't know how to clean up after themselves. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, like that. It's a like a healthy way of life. Yeah, to do that, and it's also like a discipline. Also, So I think I was really lucky to have that discipline. But then I also think that, so like in that sense, that's how it helped me at home, and like also like, don't forget your homework, put it right here so you don't forget it, or put it right in your backpack. And going through that process, obviously kids, it takes them a long time for them to learn certain skills and certain whatever, whether it be manners, whether it be just how to clean up after yourself. But like that's just persistence of a parent, going through all that. But then in that aspect, but then at school, like you said, like being bullied builds your character. Being kicked around builds your character. Being embarrassed in front of your class. Being I shouldn't have said that to him. That's all like developmental to your character and to who you are, and to who you want to be. If you see somebody doing that, you don't want to be that person or something like that too. So, I sometimes like you said, you developed a lot on the schoolyard more than at home. I think mine was pretty even in the sense of how I described, like that I had that at home, but I also had like life skills at school, or social skills, I should say, at school. But I think it all depends on like who your parents are also, because I lived with my dad and my stepmom, and my stepmom's really outgoing, and that made me outgoing, you know. So I didn't have a problem talking to other people and learning social skills that way. But I think uh, I think going to school is super important. Um, like going to elementary school and junior high and high school, you know, and often I often think that like homeschooling kids in high school to protect them or certain things is like super dangerous for your student or your child, you know, because um, you know, I understand it definitely that you don't want your kid to hurt, you don't want your kid to uh, go down a road that they can't help going down, if it's a bad road or whatever it is, you know. But at the same time, it's like that's living, you know. The world is crazy, and
I think there's this huge temptation on the part of parents to like hold on to your kid because you
oh
want
yeah,
like success for them. You want them to be driven, you know, and you're really like fucking super invested. Like unless you have a kid, it's hard to explain it. It's a feeling. And you know, I think if you're a good parent, like you're also like crazy invested, like about politeness, about about like can you say, what do you say, right? Like at work, right? Like
oh yeah,
like
thank you,
like
yeah,
and we can tell, like we see the difference in families and between parents and
Oh
kids.
yeah, absolutely.
The people that like the parents that are putting up iPads in front of their kids.
yeah, dude,
For example, and like those that like they cannot control their child. That like the kid gets everything they want because they're throwing tantrums.
yeah,
And it's like, how is like 6 adults being ran by one child?
yeah,
Or the
Like,
parents that's like they just sit around and do nothing while they let their children just run around the restaurant.
yeah,
that's crazy, yeah.
And the parents don't do a thing. It's just like
they don't even know where their kid is. I worked a Sunday desk shift, and this kid, he's hiding out by the palm trees, and he's part of the early '50s table. And they'd been there for like 2+ hours, and it's like, man, they were finished like in the first hour, and they're just hanging out now. And this kid, and I don't know if he was like, maybe had like Downs. He seemed maybe like a bit simple, perhaps, but like I kept seeing him like hiding behind the palm tree and like over by pillars, and I was like, you're just floating around, dude. Does like anyone know where you are? Like,
yeah.
and then I came back to do the men's a couple times because it was a busy shift, and I kept cleaning up a mess, a particular kind of mess. And the last time I did a men's, he's in there and he's doing this weird, like, I'm caught, so I'm going to stop what I'm doing and then turn and then leave. And he was like making this weird soapy towel mess in the bathroom sink. And I'm like, this is only happening because you're not being watched and someone has not been taking care of you, that you don't know better and you're not being watched. Right? So that I already know what's happened.
Yeah.
And by seeing what's occurring, I can tell what's happened. Like, so I'm going to probably bet several adults drop the ball on this shit. Like, they're just like, it's a struggle for me because like I don't have someone super close in my life like that, but I've met people who do, and then I've observed it. And so it's like it's tough because these people still are in society, and yet I don't think they're always taken care of.
Yeah.
For one thing, like we don't really have an answer for people in this situation or the families that then have to bear with it.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Like, whose fault is it that kid is making a mess in the bathroom? Is it his fault? Because, like you said, he was in there and gave you that "I've been caught," which means he knew he was doing something wrong. So, is it his fault that he's doing that, or is it his parents' fault for him being out of sight? Because there's fault on both ends for sure, but it's like, whose fault is it? You know what I mean? Because he has the mental capacity, obviously, to know
right
that,
from wrong.
yeah, right from wrong. So is it that makes it whose fault it is? Knowing? Because, like, for sure by law, if somebody doesn't, like in the law, like, if somebody doesn't have the mental capacity to
understand.
no right from wrong. Like for murder or whatever, then they're not necessarily
guilty.
they're not guilty. So like, whose fault is it that kid's? I would say
so it comes down to responsibility. In other words,
maybe or
the parents, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I would say like it's probably.
I would say both. I mean, you can't put all the blame on one. I mean, but I would say mainly more on the parents.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like kind of like a both way thing. That's why I've just been thinking about it, because there's like the arguments are the same for both sides, but it's like the parents are in charge of the child, so it's like they shouldn't be doing that. Oh, whatever.
And yet we see like all the fucking time, right?
Oh yeah.
I remember getting at Cheesecake in 2013, Anaheim, I mean, specifically. Carnell was saying, Carnell's like dishing out wisdom every night, but like this is like the first month working at Anaheim.
Oh yeah.
And he was saying, when a concept's got children running down the aisles, it's already dead.
What concept?
As like a restaurant concept.
You mean like? I don't understand.
Like we've already had our heyday, and we're just like sweeping up.
Oh, I see that.
You know what? Like, do you know what he's saying? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And
within an industry, you present yourself with a certain idea of what you want to be, and then over time, obviously, that idea that you try to portray dwindles in some way, and so, I mean, I see it. Yeah.
Andrew and I kind of touched on this on like political and movies, so in a different world, but I kind of wanted to bring it into work because like I was thinking like, man, I fucking love working for a Cheesecake Factory. I can't imagine that like now I'm diving into the bar and I'm gonna be working there a lot more now.
In the bar?
Yeah. It's be fun. And I was thinking back like, you still fucking love working for this place. Because you got really pumped up and you really liked the idea and everything this place had to say about working for it back in 2006 when you first got hired. And, it's only fucking shame that once I was in, I realized that wasn't the case, that the people within it were, fucking around and making it not a fun place to work.
Yeah.
Making it a very difficult place to work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was just gonna say, like, dude, I love Cheesecake Factory too, like, totally. And the thing that's a bummer for me is like some people, complain about the guests too much, and that's what really gets me. It's like
guests are no problem to me.
See, well, I mean, like sometimes they are to me, but like that's why I'm there.
Yeah, so I mean that's my function. So it's like I'm.
How could I complain about?
Yeah.
Why I'm supposed to be there?
Like I feel like we're our being there makes us like tough. Like we're the struggle of working there with those people allows us to bear with them, and
not everybody can do the food service industry.
That's exactly my point. That's a point that I bring up with every podcast because we're all in it, and it's not for everyone. I think everyone should try it at least.
Definitely.
Because it'd be good to just try it for a time, and then some people I think can manage bearing with it most of their life.
Yeah, I have personally experienced too that like you can, I mean, not everyone obviously, but like you can make your guests feel how you want them to feel by how you act. So like all these people that complain all the time are the ones with the shitty guests. You know what I mean?
They're projecting their negative attitude. I mean, in some sense, keeping that negative thought is gonna affect their workday, no matter how good or bad the guest actually is or not.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's obviously the factor of like people like that take things personally, or not even necessarily personally, but like they take like if the guest rolled their eyes, like they don't know who that person is, so they don't know if they're. I just feel like certain people think that everyone's out to get them. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of built very sensitive to vibes, so actually I get that way, and I kind of grew up that way for a time. But I think like either you wake up to that shit, and you just figure out what people really like. I find that people are very responsive to confidence. And so if you just get real fucking real with somebody,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
like, hey, how are you doing? My name's this. How can I help you?
Yeah.
Let's just have an interaction.
Mhm.
Like, and I find that if you just like balls to the wall, like throw yourself out there like that, even strong personalities respond equally enough. Like, it's those real asshole alpha personalities that, you know, like need to be absolute shitty guests. You know, like they're going to be an awful terror, whatever store or company they go to. Right? There's those people.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like if you're a good server, you're throwing out a personality, which for some people is just themselves, and you're succeeding most of the time. You know, like some people have like a really don't give a shit personality, and some are just like fucking happy all the time. I don't fucking give a shit.
Yeah.
It's all okay.
Yeah.
I like that attitude.
That's how I am. I feel, you know, I just like because first of all, I like being there, you know, and I want to, you know, interact with the guests. So like because I want to be there and want to not every day, you know, but you know, I want to, you know, take care of them, and I don't know. I feel like because I want to be there, I see all the guests in a positive light, you know. So there's no initial negative thoughts about them or whatever. But like if there are, I could see that's if people start with like a negative view on guests, then that's when their own complaining comes in, when they asked me to do this, or I needed to do this for them. I can't believe they said that, or something, you know, because then I don't know.
No, it is a series of like it's a domino thing, right? Like you start off on a bad vibe, it's gonna just descend down. You know, I've been there. I've had those nights. I had myself set up to do that even, but I'd set myself up also to kill it too. And I think some people are wired like that. Like, this is horse shit. I'm only doing it for the money. Like, only the fucking return is like, you know, like people, the ones that work at the store that like fucking complain a lot, right? And it's like there's those people everywhere. It's all frame of mind. It's all about who you bring to work, and that so much of that has changed for me is proof that I know like it can be bad for everybody, and if it can be bad for everybody, then we're all good. We're all. I mean, the people who are okay are gonna be fine, but we're gonna be even better when those bad apples aren't sour anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like it's just a better community.
That, like,
it's a better community.
A lot of those people too don't really last, and it's crazy that like it's just proof, you know, like that they're not meant for this. Like there was a server there a while ago that that just really didn't like me, and it was like I you know, I don't want to say nobody.
No, like that's
me,
fine.
you know
That's
what I mean?
fine.
But
yeah,
like,
yeah, don't.
But like, I feel like I just don't have any enemies, and I don't try to have any enemies, you know. So it's like to think that somebody didn't like me there. I think it was because you know, I liked a girl that was working there and was dating at the time, you know, and they also were like hitting on her at the same time, and she ended up choosing me. Was like, he was so mean to me, dude. It was weird. It was crazy. Like, and
it's toxic
so
yeah. Yeah. So like, I don't know. I think that was it. I don't know what it was. But regardless, like, I would just go up to him, like, go to tell him a joke. So what do you call? I don't have any time to hear this right now. I'm working. Thank you so much, but I love you, dude. You know, that's what he would say to me. You know. And,
wow.
And so it's like, I don't know what to.
See,
it was
like,
so.
I hate.
Dude,
see,
but
difficult,
well, like, what I was basically saying about that is like he didn't last very long, and it's just because people that can't like handle other people just can't be in the industry, you know.
You've got to be fucking calloused, I think, you know, fucking coffee table. right? Like,
Coffee table.
yeah,
So
like
sick.
hardwood motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
Like fucking nails in that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has like too much spilt coffee on it. You know, like it cannot catch fire. This thing is solid.
Sure.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like fucking ironwood table. Like that's what a server is if they're a good server, I feel. You know, they can take any horse shit that's thrown at them.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I never intend to do any of the manager shit that I can do and have had to do and have been asked to do. You know, I've just been in that situation and people just can get my vibe and they realize I can help them. And so then in the situation that I do. And so then that's it.
Yeah.
But I always want to just take care of people. I like the way that you said that. That's my first thing. I always feel, though, that inclination is then screwed by I need to get this done. Because if I don't get it done, someone, guest, management, the man, is going to make me pay for it. And in this world, that's how life works. That's been like my thing for a long time.
You mean like less tip?
Just
Like
shit won't go.
in the for the example of like, we need to get this guest something, otherwise my tip's gonna hurt.
Oh.
No, it's for me. It was always about service. Like, oh no, I'm like on top of my shit, so I'm gonna do shit perfect because I know it's not my fucking problem. You know, like that was always my thing originally. I came in and I figured if I'm always doing my fucking job, then I just have to turn tables and I'm just gonna make money.
Mm.
Whereas, no, the real money is in making the connection and then just hitting service steps.
Sure, yeah.
Like that's like super fucking like on the spot service, super fucking quick is great. It's never gonna happen at our store,
Yeah.
right? Like the kitchen doesn't fuck shit up, but it's too much of an unknown quantity for you to, guarantee everything that can happen will happen.
See, that's exactly right.
It's out of your control.
Well, that's why I like one top so much, because you can, you get that food started, it goes in, it's one ticket to them, which means once it's done, which is usually like super quick, and then in that time, like you don't have the pressure of like, talking to a whole table and like taking time to like out of all your other tables to speak with this whole table. You could just talk to that one person about one thing or about whatever, and they came by themselves, so they're like, oh, I'm just here to eat or whatever. So it's like, oh, you're talking to me, and I'm like, this isn't so bad eating alone. It's like you're eating with them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're having a seat and talking with them because you came here by yourself. So like making that connection with a one top and then the food comes quick. You have to grab one drink, maybe a little bit of bread. It's like everything's super quick, personal, and eventually like higher tip percentage. Although the check's not as high as other tables per se. I love one tops, dude.
I can definitely agree with that. Actually, looking back now. I was gonna say like cheesecake's always been like volume for me. People going out, money being spent. Like it's the type of place to go to do that.
Yeah.
But in between my cheesecakes, I worked for a fine dining joint, and it was a hall. And for lunches, when they did get brisk, quicker, pick up. I had an opportunity to like have some really good moments in between all my like single tables. Because there was a lot of just like single people out,
Sure.
like they're going back to the office, they're not out with a group, and so I did get to hone my serving skills and talking to people, dealing with people that way.
And it's like easier on yourself because it's just everything's super manageable. So
Yeah.
it's like kind of a no-brainer. You're just there to talk, and you just notice the iced tea, and you fill it up, and it's like,
I'm stoked to get started.
Dude, it's fun. It's fun. Yeah.
I'm really excited.
It's great, dude. Fun.
What I will say is that it can be difficult breaking into a table, like a group. Because you're the outsider.
Sure.
So your vibe's got to just like fucking work. Or
that's why I like big parties because
Yeah.
I like big parties because of, like you said, confidence. People like gravitate towards confidence and like really dig that. And if you have a big party, the first thing you have to say is, "Hi everyone, how are you?" to make sure everyone hears you. So they're like, "Oh, this man is speaking, to all of us." Yeah, like he don't, like really like, how are you? Let me tell you about my knowledge about what we have today, soup and special. So they're like, he knows what he's talking about. He's confident. He is kind. He's smiling. He's making sure he looks at everybody on the table. And like that's why I like big parties, because it makes me feel good that like the guests feel safe. Like I feel like I can take care of these people, and the way that they're responding to me speaking to everyone like is usually pretty good. So that's why I dig like launch parties for sure.
I'm not sure if it's still part of our training, but I remember like great presence being like a big thing when I first started.
Well, obviously not, because freaking run hands. I need hands.
Yeah, like that's like because I'm looking back like because I did 10 years of serving total, and like everyone asks like, Dad, are you gonna serve? I'm like, no, I already did for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing this now because I'm like I've done it. Don't worry, I have plenty of it under my belt. But I was just thinking like everyone's like always sees like the 60s as a dog section in Anaheim. And I remember last time I worked it, I didn't like it because the big parties, and the big parties are a gamble for tip return.
Yeah.
And how much you want to put in. And I remember though, like, didn't matter like how much I put in. I always put everything in. I gave great presents. I was a Cheesecake Factory server, and
yeah,
I was loud. I looked at everybody. I took care of everybody, and I don't think it like fucking running food and making up for I think a lack of precision, efficiency is what's really
that's what it is
going on. Like the line should be handled, so that way we can assist running food while also having extra time to deal with our tables, because as I understand it, that's how it used to be at Anaheim, and then things changed. But at the same time, the guy who was running Anaheim previously was no good friend to the staff. And Ivan would back that up because he was there long enough. And I think this guy was like the kind of guy that put his hands on people.
Oh, well.
But as I understood it, the way he tried to run the store is that what he tried to do was like have the line just like locked down, right? Like the kitchen locked down, so that food wasn't an issue. And then the run team and Jorge were like just killing it. And so that way servers were able to devote time to tables, right? Like, I'm not sure if you guys remember, before the wall was painted upstairs blue by Brent, there's all those damn awards.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Those were all from the first management team at Anaheim, right? So, they were doing stuff there, right? So, like, I think that must have worked. So, like, what's going on now? Like, what's the problem? Like, what do we need to do to make that happen so that we can give great service all the time and then not get penalized for not running food, because it's not your fault that other parts of the store aren't working right.
Or efficient.
Right? So, but then you're going to pay hell for not doing more. Do you get what I mean? The point I'm making?
Mm-hmm. Like I think get worse sections if you don't run.
Exactly. And then like how the schedule is right now. Like a lot of people are saying favoritism with how it's being made. And I think that's the topic that's come up here before, is favoritism. I think it's present in every realm of work.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Would you argue with that? So it's not specific to our store. So I don't want to bitch about something at our store and be like, I'm only ragging at our situation. No, I know it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? And people play people as favorites against each other, like fucking knowing what they're doing, like people who like gossip real fucking well at work know how to fucking work other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like they're stirring the pot, right? That's how a favorite system. Yeah, Isaac knows the desk is dangerous.
God, it's a rumor.
I would say like not the current, but the previous iterations have been worse. I would argue. And then there's the kids who are always going over to the desk to spit game and have fun and talk too much, and they need to be out of the desk space.
Yeah,
and then they're going back to gossip at the pillars, and they're going back to gossip. And so it's like how much fucking time is being wasted
at the front,
right? Well, I mean, like okay, so much time. No, it's just not just that, but I mean like being wasted in general everywhere, and then the manager's wasting time. Whatever they're wasting time doing, because if they were doing something efficient, it would be to rein in all this horse shit around the restaurant to then get people back to work instead, and then they would then have to do less horse shit themselves, right? Like, shouldn't someone be circulating the floor?
I mean, definitely.
Why do I know like these people are sharing nachos over here? Why do I know
it's a very lax environment?
Like exactly. It's like we made the point that you don't have to be an asshole to run the floor, and you don't have to be mean at all either. Like you can just ask us, work with us. We made a big point when Ivan's podcast was here. Ivan, Robin, and Kaylin, like we made that point. Just like we, as people who have to work in a system where we do deal with favorites, ideally we would not deal with that kind of situation, and then of course work with bosses who worked with us and not over us. I think that was the main issue we got to.
Oh, I've been stoked on the manager side lately that they've been doing a lot more visits to tables when something goes wrong, which is awesome because I feel like that never happened before, whether they were afraid to do it or whether they would like, well, I took care of it on the check so I don't have to go over there. That's not the point. The point is to like make the guest feel taken care of. Like they don't feel as taken care of. I mean, they definitely don't want to pay for it. So once that's off, like that's an expectation met, not they don't feel taken care of. Their expectation is just met. So like I think like we just talked about this in one of my classes on the first day was what's the difference between good service and bad service? It's expectation. In America we expect good service, so when you go and you're like, oh, that was good service, we expect service to be quick and kind and friendly, whatever it is, quick. And then in Europe they're slow, they take their time, they're not very present, all that stuff. But then, so that's bad service to us, so it's the expectation which dictates good and bad service. But, if the guest expects their salad to be taken off because it was nasty, then the expectation is met. It's not a good or bad service. But when the manager goes over, then that's when it kicks up to good service, and lets them know, I'm sorry that happened. This is what happened, or sometimes whatever the excuse or whatever it is, I just feel like they weren't doing that before, and now like it makes me feel so good when I go onto the line and say, hey, there was a hair in this. They say, okay, tell Allie to go to the table or whatever it is. I'm like, yes, because then it makes you look better too, because you like went and took care of it.
You went and you got the manager. You went and made sure that your table. Make sure that your table was taken care of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that has been a long-standing issue, particularly at our store for a while, and that things have kind of turned around in the last several months. I would argue.
Yeah.
That things have changed.
Yeah, that's been awesome.
And
I feel like managers should just randomly go to tables too and be like, how is everything?
You know what? Someone commented like, yeah, your company doesn't do that. And that would be great if we did, maybe.
That'd be so awesome.
If the store ran right, maybe they'd have the time to do that. But then, is it a system isn't operating right? Is it the people you put in charge of the system? And, like, what side is... Because, I mean, we just need, like, someone to rein us in. Like, we're all, like, wild motherfuckers, but we're all pretty good people, right? And so I think we'll go along with someone that we want to work with. When it's authority coming down, like authority coming down, we were all fine working with Brent because he was cool about it,
Mhm.
and so we could take authority coming down from him that way.
I feel
Yeah.
like that comes
you-
with mutual respect.
Yeah, like
I feel
so.
like with some managers, I feel that they'll give me respect, and I give them my respect.
Yeah.
And some managers, not necessarily. You know, they're very bossy, or they talk at you instead of talk to you. Just small things like that. Just totally affect it.
I'm very much on like the polite side. Like I really like to be. I would really like to be treated well. So I've always approached things I need, people I need to talk to. Like I want to be really polite to, because that's what I hope to get back in return. That's only just changed and gotten better over time. And with management, they've largely been wired like a different direction. They're always irritated. They're always like, I'm not sure what the issue is. Always, I found very few people who are wired okay and are cool and are not bothered. Like I've found a lot of people wired who already have problems.
Yeah.
Right? Like and it's like you shouldn't have gotten here with an issue already.
Yeah, totally.
You know, because like
That's
it's coming out at work, and I can tell.
That's what I was saying about like those kind of people don't last. You know?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Fucking true. And you know, we're saying that our store has been getting better. So, are we then saying, is it the system, like how the store is ran, or the people?
Well, maybe I don't know what managers are like. Maybe, well, definitely the manager's supposed to go to the table when they find a hair or something happens, right? So, if they're not doing that, which if they do that, it makes the system better. Like if they're just completely, if they're not using the correct system, then it's not the system's fault. I would say it's the person, you know? So like, I don't know what like the manager training is like, but I would guess that Cheesecake Factory sets up the managers and the whole operation for success if you follow the system and the steps and all this stuff. But if they're avoided or if they're skipped over, then that is when the problems arise. I'm not positive on that, but that's what I would guess, you know? Like one example is I had a guest, so it was just bar one and I one night, and a guest sat down. I got the drink orders and got them their drinks, and then, or no, maybe I just got a drink order, and then the hostess came up to me and said that I was phased. I'm like, oh, okay. And then bar one came up to me and he's like, okay, so what do I need to get for this table? I'm like, no, I just started them or whatever. And like, I know it's like the whole food, like if the food's not on the table, the rule, then you get to, you transfer the table or whatever. But like, it was just the approach of like, all right, well, this is my table now, and then so that I would kind of didn't know what to say, and I'm not really good with and I was sick of this person particularly, so I was just like, oh, you know what, dude, like, just get them or whatever, and I was like really bummed out, and then they went to a manager and said that I was mad at them or something, and it was just this thing where like, I don't know, like basically what I'm trying to get to is that like we skipped a step on me introducing the guests to the new server, and like that was a problem because the server was confused the whole time of what was happening because I was doing my side work while they were like taking care, like I had done most of the work anyway, and I don't really remember, but like it was basically a step was skipped and it caused a problem. So I think even like, especially in corporate, like being in Cheesecake Factory, like following steps is like pretty important, and I think they're there for a reason. So I think that, I don't know. I've always been pretty much a rule follower too, for the most part. So like I'm kind of biased in that sense. But and then at I don't know. It's just safer to fucking follow the rules. So
Well, it certainly is. Yeah.
I don't know. But of course, you gotta live. You gotta party.
I think that's I think partying and life on the road is something we might turn to next. Get out of work. I want to go. I might have to sojourn and use the restroom real quick. But I was gonna get into your trip to Vegas.
Yeah.
And then also, Nate, I wanted to touch on like what road life is like for you since you travel and you're in a band and I know you do gigs. If you guys want to like get into it, like this thing's recording, so I'm just gonna disappear for a second and go for it. I feel like.
Yeah. Tell me more about Vegas.
Vegas? Where to begin?
So you said you stayed in Rio.
Yeah, we were at the Rio Hotel. The reason we were there, though, good family friend of ours, their youngest son has the same birthday as myself.
Who'd you go with? Who'd you go with?
With my family. So my family and their family. But their youngest son has the same birthday as me. He just turned 21, so that's why we were in Vegas. And then their eldest daughter has the same birthday as my brother. So, like, pretty close family, do a lot of stuff together. And so they were like, hey, we want to go to Vegas to celebrate Tony's 21st birthday. You guys want to go ahead and go with us? And we were like, sure. I haven't been to Vegas since, or I said since I was like 13.
Yeah.
So we really didn't get to experience Vegas, but it was fun. Went downtown, made $115, which was great the first night. Second, hung out with my friends who live in Vegas. And then tried to make some more money the next day. Did not do so good, but it was fine. And then went club hopping. We went to 3 different clubs. I guess there's a.
Did it cost to get in?
It was no. We did like this, like a bus. It was like a club hopping bus. It was like $65.
Oh.
And then it's free drinks on the bus. And then the first club we went to, like they were it was like a discount on well vodka. Was like the only thing that we can drink. I mean, that was a discount. Everything else was full price. The clubs, but I mean, it was good. I mean, when you're in the bus, the bartender in the bus was just like making strong drinks. So it was good. There's like random people there because there's like different. Like there's only 4 of us, so it's not going to be only us 4 on a bus. So there was like 30 people. Whoa. And there was like a group of people from Canada, from Montreal, and they were celebrating this woman's 40th birthday. Whoa, and they were Indian, and they would like come down from the club early, leave it early to get on the bus so they can plug in their own music and just like just jive and rave, and they were fun. It was
their party.
The party in the bus, and then everybody comes in and they're like up and dancing and on the stripper poles. Yeah, it was fun. It was great. Vegas was a blast.
Vegas.
You missed it.
Yeah, I heard about it at work. Oh my god, that's why I brought it up. I wanted to give you some love.
Yeah. And then, the waking up the next day was not fun. But not the worst hangover. And then drove back home. Yeah, pretty nice weekend trip.
Do you get hangovers much?
But do you drink to get hangovers? You know what I mean? Do you drink enough to?
Yeah. I mean, I'll get myself a nice buzz, but I don't drink more than excessively. Yeah. Yeah, I don't drink too much.
I probably think like back in the day for me, I probably was always drinking too much, definitely. But I found ways to get around that. I switched to like all whiskey, and then I had like a whole procedure for like when I got home, like how to, like what to do. Yeah, like I need to do this, and I need to.
You gotta like hit McDonald's on the way home.
Yeah. Your routine.
I did have a routine. I had 2 hot green teas. And I stayed up long enough to have them.
Yeah, staying up is the key for sure.
Yeah, I'm rehydrating. I'm like, Yeah, like I'm just like
It's the thing
you're
is, it
getting
keeps
through
coming,
it.
just
You're
everything
getting
keeps
through it.
coming back to me.
Those are bad. Like we have a system to cope with getting fucked up. It's not good.
We like left the last club and we get back to our hotel, and we're just right where the elevators are, right before going up. We're just sitting at these tables, and we see people walking by with pizza. And we're just like, where is the pizza? Was saved us.
Where's the pizza?
Yeah, exactly. It was good.
Yeah, dude. Eating. Yes.
Oh, food.
Eating and then just like water until you're like bloated.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I force at least try to get 6 minimum cups, but 8 at max. 6 to 8 cups of water down into me before I go to bed. If I'm like heavily drinking that night.
I can't make myself drink water unless like I absolutely need it, and then it's like, please give me. I'm like wired to not drink water. Like I have to really tell myself to drink water.
Yeah, I've noticed recently like how much I don't drink water, and
That's
I
so
think
bad.
it's because like I go
I
pee
know.
so much.
Well, that's exactly why I don't, because of that reason.
Dude,
Like,
I pee so often. It's like I don't like consciously like, oh, I can't drink because I know I'm gonna have to pee later. It's just like I'm not that thirsty, so I'm not gonna drink, even though I probably should drink water. And then yeah,
catches up to me though, and I'm like, God, I just feel awful. Like my joints and my muscles hurt because I'm not fucking hydrated. Like you're supposed to be really well hydrated, actually. Like
8
it's
ounces.
like I was thinking about this. Like okay, like we're supposed to be drinking a lot of water, as it turns out, probably much more than we're ever getting, and we're drinking all this other shit besides, right? When we're actually thirsty, so we're all walking around, probably all dehydrated.
How about if you drink a can of Coke, it takes 2 cans of water to just dilute the sugar that you drink in that can of Coke.
dang.
And then you have to drink another 2 cans of water to just
So you're playing
hydrate
catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're playing catch up for a while if you have that. So I mean, consider the people that are like jamming through Coke after Coke after Coke after Coke after Coke with no water on the side, and they're not going to have a water.
But it's diet.
Yeah, and then they're not going. When are they going to have? Who knows when they're going to have water? When are they going to have water? And my coffee. My coffee's made out of water.
Yeah.
Oh my lord! That logic is going to kill you. And so like, I'm thinking everyone's walking around probably dehydrated most of the time. Like not everyone, but a lot of people, right? Like how many people are like not there or aren't operating right, or like fucking their body hurts all because they don't drink water. And there could be a lot of reasons for that. But I was thinking the bathroom is one very interesting example that affects everyone. Like whether there's an issue with you going to the bathroom for a number of reasons, or well, let's just go with that right there. I mean, for you, I mean, it's subconscious likely that you avoid the water because you don't like the inconvenience of having to go to the bathroom.
Could be. Yeah.
And so like think about people that have an issue then with the bathroom, and then they have to feel like if they're going, it's gonna be an even bigger problem.
Oh
yeah. So it's.
I mean, yeah.
Bathrooms are not exactly convenient, and yet it's something that everyone has to utilize.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think that's where like bathroom legislation is a horseshit issue. Like yes, I think
I 100% agree with you.
Like, okay, like I took this class because we'll touch on a couple of things. I think I took this class. Shit, I'm forgetting the author right now. Zola's Paris. Okay, it was this particular writer, Emily Zola, and it was like late 19th century Paris, like 1850s on kind of style period writing, and in the study of this class, in the culture and literature of the time, we also saw like some photos and some renditions of the new Paris, which is today's modern city. Today's modern city is established in Paris, in the city we see today. And the bathrooms, the public restrooms, which are developed, guys, it's awful. Like, I mean, we've moved miles. We've moved miles. So, like, really, we have.
Well, I
We
mean,
really have.
and
We really have. And yet, I feel like it still is not convenient. I want to argue. You know, like I get you have to pay to use a bathroom at a place, but like I think like having restrooms made public is like a really vital and important thing actually because it provides like a microcosm of safe space for something you have to do that all people have to do. And so if you're inconveniencing that fact, like it's no wonder homeless people are a mess on the street actually, right? And they have horrible hygiene also maybe. So, and I know then that having people then on the street then comes back to complicate that issue then because you can't put nice stuff out on the street without poor folk, homeless folk messing it up. Which is why the benches are gone at Harvard Gatella, and you have people sleeping under them elsewhere.
Sure. Yeah.
Like right out into the store.
Yeah.
There's always people. There's always someone sleeping under it.
Yeah.
If anyone's driven by our store in the morning, they know someone sleeps under the bus bench on Clementine and Disney. Not Disney.
Yeah, I could tell you.
Always, there's like 1 to 2 people who sleep under there every evening.
Yeah.
Some sort of shelter, something.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Bummer.
Like, what do you think, Nate? Like, people have to stay out of the bathrooms.
People what?
Like,
I didn't hear you.
do you think people are like stay out of bathroom business? Like, we should make them more available. Like, that's my mind that like I think bathrooms should be made more available and people ought to like crawl out of their ass about that issue. Like, people should be allowed to fucking pee or whatever they got to do.
Let my people pee. Oh yeah.
Right. That's all I'm getting to. Like, just holy shit. Like, I'm sorry. That's I think that's important.
Yeah. I never thought of it as an issue. Like, just because I don't know. I just never thought of it.
I had a public speaking class and I had to pick a topic and I actually chose bathroom. Like bathroom legislation was my topic. There's actually to have like gender neutral bathrooms or gender neutral single stall bathrooms, just having those accessible or having at least one in every building is going to be beneficial for anybody. You can have people who are maybe with an elderly parent who needs assistance going to the bathroom. Just having one type of bathroom in each building, on a campus or in a facility at work or in a building like that on each floor. Just I say makes it at least 20 times better than having separate bathrooms or one bathroom per building that's completely outrun and outdated and just completely disgusting, or public bathrooms that are just not taken care of. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it's an issue, and there's that should be things that should be fixed, not necessarily like. Yeah, I think people are meddling in bathroom business in negative ways instead of positive ways currently.
I think, I don't know. I guess there's in my mind, if I just like right off the top of my head without thinking about it too hard, I would imagine that there's enough parks with public bathrooms. In general, I would think. If you're homeless, I suppose, you would strategically place yourself somewhere, or you definitely have the time of day to get over to wherever that public restroom is. But then, at the same time too, I've experienced it myself because I take care of that guy on Sundays and he needs assistance going to the bathroom. So if we're out, and because he can't control his bowels or, if he needs to go to the bathroom, I just have to go every 45 minutes with him. And he just needs to stay occupied all day, so we'll go on a walk wherever it is around Cal State Fullerton, and we'll go on a walk through a park or whatever. And if it's at that 45-minute point, we need somewhere to go. And I need, like, he's had an accident while we're walking before, where he had a bowel movement while we were walking, and we were kind of nowhere near a bathroom. And so I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. You have to walk around like this, And we get to, the bathroom, and it's a mess, and it's just like, that's the only way I could relate to it, is like not having enough bathrooms around with somebody that can't control themselves and need to be readily available wherever we are. But
and maybe having establishments, because I mean the whole you have to pay. I mean,
for customers
yeah,
only or whatever.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, people come into our restaurant who aren't customers and use the bathroom.
I go into places that I'm not a customer and go to the bathroom.
People do make it very awkward. Like, you can't or you shouldn't do that. Like, you have to be paying, and like, I know people look down that at our store, but we don't get beat up over it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we should. We shouldn't have to. We will act that way.
I know. Yeah, like, pick your battles,
Yeah.
Not the bathroom. Whatever.
It's kind of like my thing is, like, it's ridiculous that we've been forced to fight about it at all. And I just personally, I'd fight for better bathrooms. And I wonder, because for me, it's not just my situation. I think, like, I've known people who have been attacked, like women. And so single stalls are very appealing for the security. And that's kind of what I meant more before, about feeling like a safe space in society that, maybe you have not even being attacked. I mean, just growing up, maybe, where you grew up, you feel unsafe in society. You feel unsafe in groups. You feel unsafe outside your home, outside your room. So the bathroom might actually provide a safe space in public, I might argue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
getting to? So in that regard, that's where I think it's really important, even.
Yeah.
I can see those. Having those safe spaces.
I'm for that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not for like some sort of like giant mobile bathroom truck or anything. I'm just saying that, like, it's in an ideal world, we'd all get to pee. We all pee. That's what I'm saying. We piss and do all sorts of stuff. Like, we get messy.
Hell, I do it every day.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah.
Like, if you're fortunate, you have, like, a good night's rest, one good meal, and a decent shit every day.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's all you hope for.
Mm-hmm.
You're fortunate if you hit that.
Yeah.
One good meal, full night's rest. Okay, good example. Brent. Dude was always very chill, right? But in the morning, when he's opening, like, I always waited until, like, he has coffee and we're around the corner, because he'd come back. Yeah, totally. We'd come back around the corner after go using the boom boom room, and he'd be totally stoked. Totally saw the change. Totally happened. Totally real. Like Morrison would fucking call people out. He'd be a dick to people at Shells on purpose. He'd be like, "Hey, you all full of shit."
That's funny.
Yeah, like, people seriously, like, I wonder if people really are in toxic bad moods, and society is worse off because they're full of shit. People are literally full of shit. I've got a point to make about this. People have been asking, like, the fasting thing. I do the keto and also fasting. And with fasting, I think the idea is that, like, our body is diurnal, so it's only supposed to be operating like half the day. So digestion is only supposed to be going on so much of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people today in modern life, I forget just the sugar and the carbs, like, they're eating all day long, drinking all day long. They're, so their body is always digesting, right? So you get all this shit always going on inside. And let's say you're throwing in, like, lots of dairy and lots of really interesting stuff. And like, it's just a roiling, boiling mess in there, okay? And let's say like you have really bad bacteria, and so like you're just really gassy and you're always uncomfortable and like you're bent over and you're just, but you're gonna go shovel more food in your mouth and you're gonna get a,
That's me.
yeah, and you're gonna get a little something, take home with your talkie bag and you're gonna eat it, yeah, later.
Hell yeah.
At 1 in the morning after, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. I want to go live that life.
I'm into that.
I mean, that's modern
Yeah,
life for a lot of,
true.
you grow up that way.
Mhm.
I had to grow up that way and then get out of that shit. Now I feel amazing. But I mean, what if everyone's bad personality is related to clearly what they're eating, what they're putting in? Because I mean, you are what you eat, quite honestly. And everyone seems to probably be having they have a bad diet. And then that's affecting their mood. And like literally I'm reading now that what you like your gut bacteria are like guiding a lot more about what you do. Like what you hunger is really driving a lot more of like what your actions are. Like you really can't resist sugar. Like sugar, if once it's in your diet, like it's hard to get off sugar. Like it's really much more addictive than people want to admit.
Maybe, yeah. I never heard anything, but yeah, it makes sense.
I definitely heard of doctors and scientists like studying people individually, their gastro like anatomy and like the bacteria that's in it, so that like because specific foods will fit better for certain people and certain diets fit better for certain people. It's very individual basis. But no, yeah, definitely. I mean, how many people nowadays are gluten free now than there were, 10, 12 years ago? It's crazy. I mean, so many more people that I know, they're like, oh yeah, I'm gluten free. Everybody's dealing with their diet, and
that issue is a big one for us because like what's real and what's not, what's a fad,
yeah, what's actually, yeah.
Well, I would say too, like that a lot of it has to do with self-image versus like bacteria guiding what your mood is. I would say like, oh my god, I ate McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner today because I was so busy and I had to do that, and I had a bad day at work, and I'm eating this fat food, and I'm fat, and I'm fat, and also I'm fat because I ate fat food. So fuck you, and you're fucking annoying. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel about it. And versus like an actual thing in the food or an actual ingredient or anything guiding a mood. I would just say it's more of a self-image thing because we're always. I feel like everything is revolved around like self-image and like the image that we want to be is on TV or what we see in wherever, and even in other people, so like this person's got it and I don't everywhere you go, so I think that's how I view it with food. Self-image. That's for everything, dude. And like people that are moody or just
People who too focus on their self-image sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Let it go. Just let it go.
Yeah, let it go, dude.
I think a lot of people can't get there. They're really focused on themselves. They're looking for themselves in the world around them. Hard to argue.
Yeah.
They don't know who they are. They never find themselves. It's dangerous shit.
Yeah.
Did you drink all that?
I did.
Nice. Good. It's better with some mixer.
Yeah.
More going on. Yeah, because it's like I could have had a couple with Andrew, but I held off. I was really surprised he can drink. I think we could have put him back. Oh my god. He was a really cool guy to talk to.
That's good.
Have you guys watched his film review
No.
channel?
No, he sent me some videos, but I haven't seen them.
They're short, but fun,
Mhm.
and I think that communicates very well.
Dude, he's so tight. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I love him. Really cool person. I've started a thing. He's becoming known now as God of Bar.
Of Bar.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Because
he
he's in the
totally
bar,
is,
like,
yeah.
no, definitely. Absolutely.
He loves
hands
it.
down.
He loves it, dude. He has his own theories. I talked to him about it. He's like, you see, bar one on weeknights is not as good because, like, you come in at 5 and you're in the middle of happy hour. People have your tables and, like, you have to deal with, like, all this stuff. And it's really funny. It's awesome because, like, he knows, like, all the ins and outs of the bar and, like, what days are good, what section, all that. So it's rad. Got a bar, dude, for sure.
Yeah, I knew like it was catchy. I was just like, I've worked with him enough. He is always in the bar.
Yeah. He
And
loves it.
Always. He loves
yeah,
the bar.
yeah. So I don't know, like I know he's kind of like there's a lot of gaming people, and so I was thinking like God of War,
Yeah.
God of
Yeah.
War, and so I was
God of
like,
War's
that
so
just
tight.
fits. That just fits for Andrew. I could totally see him in like that
Kratos.
cross Kratos
Yeah.
leather strap thing. He's got that heftiness to him, so
Yeah.
I could see him like just clobbing somebody.
Fuck yeah.
Andrew could kill somebody easy.
Just wrap him in chains.
Yeah.
Next time he gets to work. That's so sick.
Destroy. Oh,
So sick.
put on that to shame.
Yeah.
You guys like, are you like a team captain or anything for the meeting?
I was gonna be, but I can't make it because I have class on Thursday mornings.
What
So
time is?
my classes are 8:30 to 9:45, and then 10 to 11:15. So
It's like all that, yeah.
yeah. So I'm going on Saturday,
When is that? On Saturday, is that?
11 a.m. The Saturday
yeah.
after.
Oh, so like immediately after.
Yeah.
Did you say where it was? Yeah.
At our
Upstairs.
location.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I might have to end up bouncing too.
Yeah.
I have a thing exactly at 10:30. It's medical.
Yeah.
I
I
can't
think
skip it.
I think that I think it'll be like much more chill. Like just make sure everyone that goes on Saturday has it down. So I think it'll be better too. I don't know.
I won't be there.
I'm leaving for Vegas that day too. So like my setback, like I was gonna go to Vegas and leave that Saturday morning and I haven't decided on a hotel yet, but then get to the hotel, settle in. I'm going to the Pinball Hall of Fame out there, play a bunch of pinball.
Oh, cool.
So like they have like hundreds of machines at that place in Vegas. So that's gonna be super fun. But now I have to leave maybe around 1, depending on what time the rollout that starts at 11 ends. So I might get there like way later than I anticipated. So that'd be a bummer, but I gotta do it.
There's something you said I want to touch on. Isaac, do you mind if I try your pen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. It's just like button and go.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it? Okay, I see a button.
Button and go, dude. Button and go equals marijuana.
I had a Sprite taste with pine.
From that?
Yeah.
Sprite with pine?
Yeah. Oh.
Like you drank sparkling pine salt?
Like I got like a touch of Sprite and then a lot of like.
Yeah, Seinfeld.
Yeah, that's the word. That's exactly it. But there was like a touch of like that little crispness that you get from Sprite,
It's citrus.
Yeah, the citrus crispness. Like I got like a touch of that. And, ooh, Sprite.
Cool.
Shit. It'd be cool if it would fucking taste like Sprite. Holy shit. Hey, don't drop that. Pinballs, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, like, okay, I played some pinball when I was younger, and it's just a fun fucking thing. It's just fun. It's a waste of time, but it's fun.
So fun.
Total waste of time.
I love it.
You're fighting losing. You're only gonna lose,
But it's so good.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at some point, just because the way it's hit,
Mm-hmm.
fate just, it's not going to return back to you that you can hit it back in, right? Like, it's going to go right where you can't prevent it from going in.
At some point, yeah.
Right? So, like, it's just a matter of time before fate intervenes
Yeah.
and you lose.
Mm-hmm.
And that's life. Like, I love that. That's a perfect game. I love a game which, it's just, you're playing life.
Mm.
It's that simple. Right?
Yeah.
And you're just going at it again, just the ease of that. And if you can kind of master the ease of just continuously, like, I see people get bent out of shape over pinball, and I've seen people just kill having the time of their life just
For me,
playing
it's
nonstop.
like a personal record thing. Like, there's this one machine that I go to in Santa Ana. There's a barcade called Mission Control, and they have like 18 or 20 machines or something like that. And they have an Iron Maiden pinball machine that's like my favorite. And like, I have a personal best on there that, like, not on the actual scoreboard because people are way better than me, but like, I try to like get that every time. And like, there's so much going on with like all the different pinball machines. Like, there's different modes you can hit. Like, to activate one mode, you have to hit it up this ramp, or like there's certain
sequences.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, there's so much to do, and like, I've been playing that machine for a long time, and like, there's still stuff I don't know about it. There's I still don't know how to activate certain things and all that, but like, it's fun, like, learning and playing and trying to get that high score.
The original video game,
right?
I think
Classic.
like games
Classic.
were more basic, and
I wouldn't call pinball basic though.
well, no, I mean like no. I mean, I guess okay, wrong. But what it did for you was more basic. Now I feel like games are supposed to be like immersive. You're supposed to feel like you're in the game,
Yeah.
And there's what you're doing has changed dramatically with a game. Like, you used to go to an arcade, right? Like, I grew up where Nickel was still a thing.
Yeah, Nickel.
Right? You guys remember that at all?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like,
I recently went to Nickel because they have pinball there.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Where's there Nickel?
Garden Grove. It's Harbor and Garden Grove Boulevard.
Our closest one closed a while back in Huntington.
There was
just
one
off Huntington.
One in Whittier, right by my house. So we go there all the time.
Whittier, no. I knew the one in La Habra. There was one on, like, I think, like, Whittier Boulevard.
Yeah, Whittier.
Was that the one?
Yeah.
Those are interesting relics of, what would you say, like 80s culture? I think like arcades came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
Or what is that 70s? You only have Pong really in the 70s.
Arcades the 80s for sure.
Yeah. That's, and I guess maybe they stayed current enough into the 90s, but more just as relics, I would argue, like, because like personal consoles were already, like in the 90s you had like, Sega came out after the basic Nintendo, and then there's only so many things to get.
Mm-hmm.
Atari was before everything else, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Super Nintendo, N64, PS1.
PS2.
Dude, you guys,
Smash Bros is still going strong. I remember playing that from like when I was
okay. See, that might be an example.
First grade.
That might be an example of a newer platform returning, and I'm sure it keeps coming up. I'm sure of a platform returning to like a basic arcade thing where it's just you're just smashing people. And just you're getting back to play again, You're getting new. You're just, if you don't get bent about it, you can just keep playing. Like, I love Smash Brothers. I think Smash Brothers appeals to everyone for that reason, right? Like, I think that's a game that when it came out, everyone loved. And why was it? It had that basic formula. It's just game. Just, you're playing for fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's just straight fun. It's a simple thing. You're fighting to not die. Mm-hmm. You're probably, on a long enough timeline, even probably the person that's like number one is going to die once, right? No matter how tough you are. Because that game, I think, like, it was originally set up to like where you take damage. And like you can fight the damage until like you can't take it anymore. So like your opponents can just decide to smash you all at once and you're toast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that's what I think when I always played with friends, that always happened to me if I was like on a streak.
Yeah.
Like people wouldn't tolerate it. Like they trash you.
Yeah.
It fucking suck. Like getting teamed up on.
Yeah.
Hate that.
They've come out with older games like the new, is it Spyro and then
Oh,
the
yeah.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, Crash
That
Bandicoot.
were way older games that we grew up.
It's on the
I definitely
PlayStation
grew up with.
Network or
Yeah,
whatever it's
and
called.
now they revamped them for
Yeah.
the new PlayStation. Yeah, for the new PlayStation 4.
Now I think that's a little more complex. That's getting into like Zelda style category. We're like going
my
through
God,
worlds.
Zelda 2. Yeah, Zelda's gone so
Well-
far from
Well, I
where
mean, maybe because
it first was.
that's the
playing on
difference then. Because we
Nintendo Color.
were talking about like you guys probably. I mean, I grew up with it too. I enjoy Zelda. But there's a huge difference. Like, what is it about? Like, is it like I don't know how much like a story you can play on an arcade game, but
Exactly.
like
Yeah, that's what it is.
it's like a story is like you're falling into a like we touched on movies with Andrew, but like with games maybe like what can you guys say like with media? Is it like when the story is like much more developed, like is there something about that like draws you into the game itself more, or what do you feel
I
about that?
definitely say, kind of going back what you were saying about the older games, they've lended the newer games to develop, to have these storylines. They were because they were so basic before. We're just smashing people, we're fighting, basic combat, and now we want more. I feel like because of social media and being out there, we kind of want a little bit more, and which is allowing them to to make these storylines, to make them a bit more complex, and allowing us to kind of do what we want with them, because we have a lot more games that are, storyline based, where, there's like 5 different ways that you can go with something instead of, just following one path.
Sure.
I like that. I think maybe that I think it must kind of crop up like here and there, honestly. Because I've certainly played games where like you would have like different avenues to explore. And I like that. But I don't know. I keep thinking that like
Bandersnatch.
it's that's
Like
that's
Bandersnatch.
yeah. So like
Netflix. It's a movie on Netflix. It's made by Black Mirror.
Oh, okay.
And basically, it's while the movie is going, you are in control, and you get to pick which way the movie goes.
Dang.
It's pretty clever. It's pretty interesting.
but that's what I'm saying is like VR is gonna be right there, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna be in the show, deciding where things go. You're gonna be inside, and then you're gonna be inside like people are gonna like film other places or create it digitally, and you're gonna be in it, right? Like are people gonna want to come out, right? For one thing, and like how will that make people act in the real world? Like will they be like people who are like really like live games might be socially awkward.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. There's a case where it's more likely, and so where people are like spending a lot of time in VR,
Yeah.
where
they
those
lose
are
that
worlds
human.
that are more real than games.
Yeah, well, I would say like that's 100% a possibility, which would mean that the responsibility of people making those shows like becomes way higher. They have like way more responsibility to make sure people are not acting a fool when they're
or influencing them in a negative
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
There's definitely a lot more pressure and responsibility on media and content creators nowadays, because people are so vulnerable and sponges, and kids nowadays they see something on TV and they think that they can do it, and like Jackass. Don't do it. Don't do this at home, kids. Do we see those labels anymore on anything? No, because they don't have that on social media.
Yeah, I don't think
Don't try this at home.
in theory, like they should have more responsibility, and like with this VR scenario, like
Should they be held like accountable for shit?
right, I mean,
I think
obviously nobody cares in the industry because there's games like Grand Theft Auto, or there's games where you can do whatever you want that's not accepted in society. So like,
See, getting to
it
practice
shows-
that out.
I mean, yeah.
Do you think that causes a problem? Like getting to act out. Let's take it to the extreme. in the VR world, let's say you do a murder.
Okay, sure, yeah, yeah.
Do you think it's okay to like let someone practice that out, experience that, because then they're chemically something's going on in their brain when they then do
Yeah.
that in the virtual world, right? And so
Sure,
that
yeah.
leaves them with the experience of having killed someone. Like that's a high that I bet is unlike. And it's not real, but I bet that is a simulation of a high that is unlike, like, like I love comedy specials. Tom Segura's got a great one where he's talking about his dad. And his dad says this thing about there's nothing better than killing the enemy. It's in the Vietnam War. And the story is that Tom kills a bird at some point, and then his punchline is, "There's nothing better than killing the enemy." You really got to watch it. I think it's his most recent one, but it's really great fucking show. It's a great story.
That would be a crazy like VR, dude. Like where it would be like a whole storyline leading up to like you having to kill somebody, and then like having to deal with running away and hiding or cleaning up or whatever it is. Like that's scary. So like that's super interesting.
Because because like, what if it's a scenario where it's designed so you're left in a moment where you followed, like, this is the right choice, yes. This is the right choice, yes. Like it's a game, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then your last one is the right choice is murder.
Yeah.
Do you fail right there or do you win? And is it like murder and that's like a disturbing experience? And then maybe that affects you in a different way. Maybe that could be constructive, or maybe that's traumatic. I don't know.
Right.
Or it's the other way where it's like an open world idea, and where I mean, do you just allow them to murder? What kind of
consequences?
What kind of sadist world do you allow?
Yeah.
See, that's where this shit starts to freak me out. Where it's like, okay, we are allowing. Like I don't like. I'm not really sure about like violent games and shooters. I'm not sure if there is like a real definite clear. I don't want to jump into that. I don't want to. But with the VR thing, because it's not really arrived yet, like we can just talk about it. And so with that issue, it's like I think that's kind of a scary idea.
Right.
Where like,
well, I think like my roommate is a film student, and he said like the main outcome that he wants when making a film is for the viewer to feel something. Kind of bottom line right there. Whether it's disappointment, whether it's whether it's super stoked, whether it's confused, whether it's anything. He just wants the viewer to feel something. They don't want to just be like, oh, I don't know, whatever. They want them to feel whatever he did, like some sort of, whatever. And obviously, with that kind of mindset, you would want them to feel the best of whatever they're feeling, like, or the most highest point of whatever that feeling is. Like, so if you're doing something to piss someone off, you really want to get at them. If you're doing something to make somebody feel good about society or a certain topic, then you're gonna want to put all those things to make them feel really good, And if it's a super suspenseful VR video game where you'd have to face something suspenseful,
conflicting issues,
then that's the murder is the, I would argue, is the like biggest conflict anybody could ever have, like that, or like maybe even your father kills somebody and needs help hiding the body. That's your father. That's your life. That is your, your bond. That is your only like rock. Obviously not the case for everybody. But like it's just something that I would say generally a lot of people say family first. So when a family member comes to you with this dead body, I need help.
That's intense.
You know
but
what I'm saying?
that's what people. You really wonder, right? And then they probably would.
Yeah, look,
Wow,
I had a
that's
dream.
intense.
I had a dream one time. My dad came up to me with a dead body and said
Crazy.
that he needed help, and he said we just need to throw it over this bridge, and like nobody will know. And it was funny because like he had this humongous golf bag that like we put the body in,
Uh-huh.
like just 'cause it's a dream, and like I don't know, it was just like, but I did it because it was my dad, and who knows how that plays out for virtual reality when somebody has the mindset of I would argue that people would kill people for the sake of the game because they know it's not real. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to feel something crazy, whatever that feeling is.
It'd be interesting to study and see the effects.
I think we would. I think just people seem to hold a lot in, so I just feel like the tendency would probably be that people have these experiences and then probably we don't hear enough about it, and then we start getting like a lot of severe reactions. That's my view, and I think that this is going to be like video games appeal to more people now than they ever did, probably. I think. Like, I think gaming is much more hip. Like, being a nerd is hip.
Well, because it like caters to everyone.
Right, right. So,
like, if you want to be a part of it, then you can be a part of it. If you want to just smash something, you can smash something. If you were a kid and you want to drive a Mario Kart, you can, it's everybody.
Games can work for everybody. They can, but not everyone. But different people have different views on games. And so some people will or will not use games. The VR thing, I think anyone and everyone will get an opportunity to use. And so I think when that hits and when it's like really good, it'll be like a huge impact, I think. Because I think people are already talking today about like I remember talking to a teacher back on campus, and like less kids are going out for sports. Social media, gaming, and just other shit is more important today. Like what people do has changed, right? And so like I think VR is going to do the same thing, where people are going to cut out parts of life so they can spend time there, wherever there is, or whatever there is.
Have you seen Ready Player One?
I didn't see that one.
Have you seen Ready
No, I
Player
haven't
One?
heard of it.
Pretty good movie. But basically, it's like futuristic
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
But everybody lives in the virtual world. They have the reality, which is shit, and they escape and live in, a virtual world. And it's like, but it's crazy. Like there's scenes, like there's trucks driving, and you just see everybody like in there with their VR goggles and their headsets and their gloves, and they're just like, playing out in the middle of the street. But you have like crowds of people just with their VR goggles. I mean, I don't know if that's gonna be us, but I mean, it's a possibility. It's crazy.
Projecting like
crazy.
the Matrix. That's,
Yeah,
that's a little more severe, but
that is.
That's
like,
more sinister. I think it's going to be willing, right? Like you're going to want to, and people are like,
yeah.
See, this where I want to lead it is, and because I don't want to say I always think of doom and gloom, but I'm always thinking ahead. And like people, I think young people have a great deal of thought that like, oh, other people are fucking up our world, right? It's a big sense of entitlement if you're young. I feel.
Yeah.
I think the VR would be really good for like suicide prevention lines or something. Like it put somebody else in a different reality.
I'm totally for using it for anything beneficial, and I think even entertainment can be beneficial. I'm not. See, I think that it will be a coming danger and unfiltered content.
Like everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
like fucking cars,
Fucking hey, man.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Drinking with a beer
Yeah.
in your car,
Yeah.
no seatbelts. Holy shit!
Yeah, dude. Like there's
car was a steel death trap.
Like that's without a question. You know, like we don't even have to like bring that up because it's gonna happen. You know, like that it's gonna be used for bad.
So bad shit is going to happen, and I'm just like, okay, well, everyone. What I meant was everyone's going to use it. It will be very huge, as the president says.
Sure.
I think another good example is like the pharmaceutical industry. A lot of people trust like the fucking doctor and the shit they prescribe you, but turns out a lot of people are dying from overprescription of opioids, right?
Yeah, that's a huge issue.
Right, you just trust your doctor, right? You just your doctor's gives you medicine, like he's the one that makes you right.
I mean,
right. You go to the hospital, that's where the doctor is. He works there.
If you watch TV nowadays, what percentage of commercials are for prescription?
Fucking prescriptions are for all the time. And, like, they sell sickness, right? Like, I didn't know about any of this shit wrong with people, right? Like, I want to bet that a lot of it's diet related.
Could be.
Like, I'm doing this thing in conjunction with my diet where I'm eating a lot of broccoli sprouts because it's high in sulforaphane, and that's a really big not antioxidant. It reduces inflammation in a big way.
Anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much. So it's part of an anti-inflammatory diet. There you go. I'm already like I can see the benefits already in a short amount of time. Totally legit. Totally works.
Natural.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you depressed? Do you feel like you're trying to? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. You
like,
might try broccoli sprouts.
I mean, I feel like the pharmaceutical companies, I can't speak, are just like trying to prescribe you drugs for things that you're not even like you're not
aware
feeling.
of.
Like,
and
are you depressed? No, I'm not depressed. Well, I have a drug for you to make sure that you don't get depressed.
Well,
it's like, why do I need a drug then?
The shit diet. You know, I feel bad because I'm eating the shit food thing you brought up earlier. Like, that's awful for you. And so you develop these negative things in your body or up with your body that then these pharmaceutical companies cater to. Right?
Yeah.
So you're just a walking bag of
I have my issues and I'm gonna self-prescribe myself with something that I think is gonna help. And sometimes it does, maybe sometimes it doesn't, you know?
I think a bad diet can lead to a host of additional problems that, you know, invariably are medically related. And then that's a whole huge issue because I've turned my diet around and like a lot of smaller things cleared up. And I'm like, that's fucking nice. I don't have to worry about that. Those were diet related issues. So I don't know. Like I got on the diet because I heard good things. I've heard good things from other diets. I'm not sure if you guys are into that or not.
Yeah. Definitely like what you say, what you are what you eat, and what you eat helps. And I mean, each person reacts differently to different diets. So, you know, whatever, if you've seen, you know, productivity in yourself and the way you're changing, that's a good thing then. Keep it up.
I do like a no cheat day thing, so that way when I'm confronted with that, no, it works because
that's good. People with these cheat days, I've seen people like super fitness people. You know, they look great. Their physique's good. I know they work out, they eat healthy, but like they'll have a cheat day and they'll post what they eat. Oh my God, they'll have like 5 meals, like 3 courses each, like always desserts, and I'm just like, that's your cheat. Like, oh my God, that's too many calories for one cheat day. Like,
me,
what?
I don't see that as a calorie. I see it as that's gonna just hurt.
Yeah.
Like I can't even eat food I know that will make me upset unless I know it's that moment where this is gonna be so good I know it's more than worth it. It's not, I won't compromise with it's worth it. It has to be over the top. So it's like I love Indian food. For me, Kamal Palace in Long Beach on 2nd Street and PCH, that's it for me. Really tucked away out of the weird joint, but fuck, some amazing food. So it's like good opportunities like that I don't pass up. So like amazing Thai, amazing Indian food. In LA, I had like a great selection of like Persian and Greek food that was really amazing. Oh my god. So I'll cheat for that stuff. That's fucking good food.
Yeah.
Yum.
I really don't touch our food all that often anymore.
Yeah.
Keep it real simple. But that's in keeping with the diet.
I eat whatever I want.
Go for it, dude. You're a beast. Well, you're going to the gym, or you were.
I were, yeah. I need to get back into my yoga. Ooh, yum.
Well, that's just, well, I mean,
Yeah,
that's not work. That's not, well, it can be a workout.
Oh yeah, I know it is. It definitely is, but like, I would do it like 3 days. I would do it like 3 days, 3 times a day, like in the morning, sometime in the day, like sometime in the middle of the day, and then like right before bed, even if it's like 15 minutes. It helps.
It totally does. Like, you can really, like,
I
like
mean,
if you
most of
meditate while you're
most of it's
doing
just
it, like,
most of it's
you
just
can
stretching.
clear your fucking head, too. You know, that's kind of nice.
Play some nice music.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you know gets you in that mood of relaxation and inner thought, and just allowing you to focus on listening to your body and like what your body has to like what it's telling you, like how it's feeling. You know, you gotta get in that mood and you'll be good. Beneficial. Recommend yoga to anybody. It helps. I'd say anything. I dealt with jaw issues, fixed that, dealt with my hip issues. I have some knee and shoulder issues and working on those to fix. But yeah, definitely beneficial.
I'll have to say the same. Like, I've definitely improved my posture and just mobility in general after adopting, yoga. That kind of going here and there for a while, I've now kept up continuously, and that's definitely the way you have to do it. So, like, it's a part of your life once you get into it, and it's only you're gonna just reap the rewards of what you sow. So put your time in, do it throughout the day, continuously. I would argue. Like, even when you're sitting down, like, you're supposed to be kind of moving around. You're supposed to always be readjusting. You're supposed to be working on your posture. Like, there's so much that I'm sure, like, we're not taught to consider at all. They're all fucking, like, walking around not considering, dude. Like, everyone. And then that has to do a lot with the disgruntled negative feelings that I think is pervading a lot of society.
I see that.
Or at least that's being then covered more. And so then we're reading about it more. And we're watching it more. And so then that's painting a picture of a worse world. And so then it is then a worse world because we believe it is worse.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
that's a whole fucking different issue.
I agree.
Long day.
No, I can read it.
Yeah,
I can read it. I can't imagine that I was going to do one and then the other. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I have to get lit to survive.
Get lit.
Oh my god. I have to go hard. Oh, you know what? I could have invited maybe Matt earlier in the day if I got hold of him, because he's available on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Morgan as well, I think. What's your guys' schedule like? Because we can have you guys back. Because I think more people really energizes the space.
Yeah.
If you've seen the other podcasts, like the joint ones are good, the one-on-ones, but like when it's been like 3 or 4 people, it can get crazy in here.
It's lively. Get a lot
Yeah,
of
I'm gonna
ideas
have to
bouncing
Uber
around.
over here next time.
Like the night with like Ivan, like we got real trash, and then with I didn't know, but like Torin came along with Matt, and he had like this whole rig with him. What I'm not sure if it's is it still a bong if it's for wax?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We just call it a bong.
Yeah, the glassware is called the bong. The mechanism that the wax is being smoked out of, that would be given a different
Is that
name.
called the nail? Is that what that's
There you
called?
go. A nail would be metal, or a rig is another thing to call
Okay,
it.
well he brought that thing in, like what the girls have in the bakery. That
Oh, the torch.
yeah, for the lemon meringue. That's like the torch. There you go, Lady Liberty. And so yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that French bitch. Yeah. Oh yeah, I said it straight. I know where it's from. She's foreign. She's an immigrant. She was a gift.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's different. Yeah, but he looked that thing up, and I hit it. Katie hit it. Torrin hit it. It was fucking great, man. We had lots of snacks. That was definitely a cheat time,
Tight.
right? Like it was a moment. It was a moment. It was a lot of good vibes, and got a lot of shit out. And it's in those sessions that like I realized like this is exactly part of what the podcast was about. That I then explained in part on the podcast with Andrew, was that this is a lot of what we are all kind of communicating in those moments between like having to work. Because in our situation, it's like we're working, but we're living while we're working. Like we're really, I think, much more in communication with each other because we have to bear with what we have to bear with, right? Like it's not war, but we have to deal with shit that you just wouldn't get in an office setting, right?
Yeah.
You know, like it's just it's different.
It's like, for example, I think it best comes out for holidays when the restaurant's crazy, and we all look at each other and we're like, we're all in this ship together, this shitty ship that's going down, like, you know, or you know,
yeah.
or like, you know, maybe it's like going crazy and it's like running smooth, but yeah, we're all in that. We all link eyes and we all just know, or you know, speaking on that telepathic wavelength, just like, God, like let's do it, or you know, try and push each other up and help us get through the craziness. So yeah.
See, I think in that way. Then I think like if because I think what ends up happening is that a lot of people end up being available rather on days off, and they'll schedule this like towards the evening, or they're working the day and their evenings are free, and end of the day. That makes this kind of like an extra thing that like they're tired. People are fucking tired, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes it difficult on people. So I just know that like groups can sometimes like fucking liven things up. You know, just that group energy just like keeps people lit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You know, so that people energy is kind of nice. Like, and especially the people that vibe. Like I keep asking like, who do you want to come in with? Because like I know some people vibe real well. Like Matt and Morgan, like. They arrived separately, but they were like zing, like
sure,
they're just really good friends, and that comes out really well
Mm-hmm.
with how they interact, and I like that.
Sorry you're stuck with me.
Hey, I had a great time with you,
Yeah.
man.
Dude, we learned stuff. Dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's kind of the point, like, cause
Yeah, I get to learn.
did you guys, know any of that shit at all personally, or our points of view, or any of like what we had to say about any of this? Like we would have had it until this moment. We don't have these conversations. Not in this length.
Yeah.
Like we'd all have to be on break together. And that's like such a limited window if we were all on break at the same time, right? At the max, it'd be 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If it was all three at the same time, right? Or it's like a slowly evolving bits and pieces of a conversation on the floor, or maybe like a shared moment. If we go out to grab drinks after shift, right? Like I had so many great conversations with people in cars hanging out after work. That like that was part of the like these conversations fucking do happen sometimes. Just like a lot of people miss them and don't catch them, or they're happening in different ways.
Yeah.
So I wanted to use the podcast to kind of get that out.
Yeah, it's tight.
Would you guys want to come back, or maybe
Yeah,
try it again, larger group, different people? I don't know.
I'm down.
Yeah, dude, definitely. I'm so busy all the time. Like,
no, I recognize that. I just whenever you guys are available, like Christian Gladfelter, he's gonna be in on Friday.
Cool.
So I have to like ring someone in to come in with him.
Mm-hmm.
he's got like a really nice energy, but he vibes really well with, I think, a group of people.
Mm.
And so I don't want to like put him on the spot one-on-one. And so I want to try and get someone to come in with him. But I mean, whenever you think in the week, like what works well for you, that I'm also available, like we'll get that going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the invite. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. Like I know like every podcast is going to be different with everyone because of interests, who's available, what's going on.
Yeah.
Like I totally recognize, Nate, that you've got a lot going on. Like I picked it up over the years. So thank you so much for coming out.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, and Isaac, I know it was like really like just short, like how it occurred. So thank you for coming.
Yeah.
You know, it was only like 2 days ago, I think.
Woo.
So no, thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for coming in. This was episode 7 of Dark Heart Podcast. Thank you everyone for listening in, and I hope to have you come back. Bye.